Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tosh Customs, and today we'll be looking at my custom Mezco Bullseye. This figure is really interesting. He's not only a kit bash, but there's just a lot of different parts and a lot of different ideas that went into him, and I think I was able to successfully create a really unique look for the classic character. So as always, we're going to move the figure off to the side and we're going to look at accessories first. I am going to pop off his head though, so we can take a look at it a little bit later. So we'll set that right there for now, and I don't know if it'll stay up. There we go. Okay, so starting off with accessories, we'll take a look at the hands first. I use two different types of hands. I use the Gomez hands, and I also use the Diabolic hands. They're the standard hands, as you guys can see here. Really standard, normal stuff. I did spray them a matte black so that they match some of the black that's on the Bullseye figure. But there's nothing that really stands out. I do use the Diabolic hands though, and I use those for his little knife throwing hands. And the reason why I choose to do that is because they are actually, let me get another hand. They're actually very, very similar in terms of like the lining in the hand. You can see that both of these have a two-tone lining almost, where there's like the midline in the glove, and so they look really similar, and it just gives me the option for him to hold his little knife between his finger and his thumb by using the Diabolic hands, and they're sized very similarly, so it works out really well. So that's just what I ended up going with, and it just happened by luck that they're very, very similar, which I was surprised about. Sorry, that was me adjusting the camera focus. So now to his other accessories, I'm going to go to guns first and then to knives. So in terms of guns, here we have his, I think this is like a G36, if I remember correctly. I'm not too good with gun names, but this is a cast that I got from Resin Armory, and I just painted it up. I sprayed it matte black. I did some black gray dry brushing on it, and just to add some details, and I wanted Bullseye to have really clean guns. In terms of inspiration for Bullseye, I wanted him to be a special agent, tactical hitman type guy. I didn't want to lean into the psycho, superhuman killer. I wanted him to be a little bit more grounded, sort of like how we see him in the Netflix series. He's a government agent, he's a little bit crazy, and he has good aim. Nearly impeccable aim. And that's what I was going for with this guy. So he's got his, I don't know if this is an AR or SMG technically, but he has it. I also made him a little sling so that he can hold it over his right shoulder. I mean, right or left, but right now it's leaning to the right. So he's got that there. Nothing really stands out. This isn't really, like the charging handle or where the empty round ejects, I painted it in a gloss black. And then I also, let me refocus, you can see it there. He has a little red dot inside the reticle, and he also has it on his little iron sight, which my camera's not focusing. There we go. There you go. You can see it there. And he has it down. He has it down the little reticle, or the little iron sight on both sides. So he's got a little sort of red dot way to line up his shots. So we got that there. The next one we have is this suppressed pistol. This is actually the pistol that comes on the Blade figure, and I got a cast of it with an added suppressor on it. And this also comes from Resin Armory. Like the other one, on his little viewfinder, he's got the little red dots. And I gave this gun the same treatment with the black gray, with the sprayed matte black and then dry brush with the black gray, and then I made the suppressor glossy. And it's a little bit hard to tell here, but the gloss black compared to the black gray makes the suppressor slightly darker and a little bit shinier. But I know I'm looking at the camera right now, it's not picking it up too well, but it is there. And then the last pistol, and actually the only gun he technically has storage for. This stores on his vest, but this is just I believe it's like a suppressed Glock, or not suppressed, Glock with like a compensator. So we have that. It received the same paint treatment, received the red dots on the viewfinder as well. The cast on this is a little messed up, so I just tried to make the red as symmetrical as possible, but, you know, this is for my personal collection anyways, so it didn't have to be totally perfect. From a distance, it looks fine. So, knives, there are 3 types of knives that this guy comes with. I'm just going to pick up all 3, and then we can just take a look at them. So, he comes with 3 different types of knives. He has his tiny throwing daggers, and these come from the Diabolic figure, and these sit inside his little wrist holsters, or wrist sheaths, and I'll show those off in a second. These are very, very tiny, by the way. Look at those. They're awesome. I love them. And they don't feel particularly delicate either. Just throwing that out there for people who might want to buy the Diabolic Mezco figure still. I mean, they're definitely small and fragile, but they don't feel delicate. Like, they're not going to break when you're sliding them in and out of the sheaths, or if you drop them. You know, they're still resilient, made out of good plastic, so that's really cool. So then the next one we're looking at is his big dagger, and this one sits on the back of his belt, which I'll show off in a little bit. Standard, I didn't do anything with this one. I didn't really do anything with any of the knives. It's just more for storage. So he has his dagger, which he can throw or fight hand to hand with. And then he has his more traditional looking throwing knives, almost kunai-esque. And he actually has 6 of these, and they sit in little throwing knife sheaths on the sides of his legs. So I'll show those off in a second too. In terms of other accessories, he also has his 2 heads. We'll look at the first one. He has his unmasked, what I'm just calling his agent head, and this is a repainted Diabolic head. Repainted all the skin tone, the eyes, and the hair. The hair was sprayed with matte black, and then also dry brushed with the black gray, and that's just what gives it those layers, which is really, really nice. There we go, got the camera to focus more. So it just gives it more shadow and more depth to the hair. I don't like when hair is a single tone. You don't really get a feeling for how hair actually looks that way. Now it looks like, you know, there's some depth to it. I gave him those beady little eyes, and I actually gave him bags under his eyes too. I didn't want him to look totally crazy, but, you know, maybe he's tired, maybe, you know, tiny little beady eyes, maybe he's just a little bit angry or insane. And then I also gave him his little bullseye mark on his forehead to still pay, you know, homage, I don't know, to, you know, the more modern character designs where he has the scar carved in on his forehead. So I gave him that still. And then I have his masked Spec Ops head, and I just like it. This is the other Diabolic head, but I sculpted over the mouth area where there's normally lips. I think I got it to sculpt over really smooth too. You really can't tell that, you really can't tell, you know, the transition between here and here. It's not really bad. So, you know, it looks smooth. It looks like the way the mask was supposed to be. So I'm really glad I was able to get that fade in there. And then he just has the bullseye symbol painted on his forehead. I was thinking about, I painted this a little bit messy, and I actually did it on purpose because I imagine him painting it himself. You know, like he's sort of taken on this extra role as Bullseye because it's what what he can't do as an agent. So he's sort of, you know, taken a work mask, painted a little bullseye on it, and then gone out to do his dirty work. The bullseye, or not the bullseye, the Diabolic night vision goggles still fit on it. I added some gloss over it because the Mezco ones aren't glossed, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the camera or not. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that shine. Yeah, so I added gloss in those lenses so they reflect a little bit more. And I'm not really keeping it with the figure necessarily, but he does look pretty cool wearing them. And I'll show it. Let's straighten those. There we go. He looks pretty cool wearing them, and I'll show it more off on the body. It looks pretty cool. So I'll just put that down. So now bringing the figure back into view, I'm going to put the head on with the night vision goggles. I'll actually take the night vision goggles off for now, but I'll put the head on. He's got his little scarf. I'm going to load everything up real quick, and then we'll take a look at the figure. So he's got his chest holster right there. So you take his pistol with the compensator. It just slides in there, and that tabs. Whoops, there we go, tabs right over. These are his wrist sheaths in either wrist, and those hold these smaller tiny little daggers. Sorry, the camera's not focusing. My phone, most of the time I have to manually focus it, and so I can't do that when both my hands are full. But we will take these little knives, slide them in there, turning him around to the back. We have his back of the belt knife sheath. We have his big dagger here. So we just take that and we just slide that in. Then lifting up his arms. On either leg, you can see he's got these throwing knife sheaths. And so we can take these. Each one fits 3. So we just go, and they just slide in pretty easy. This pouch tends to get in the way though, and that's my bad design-wise, but it's for my personal collection, so it's not a biggie. I mean, he's just going to be standing next to my Punisher and my Daredevil, so it's all good. But yeah, so we fit 3 in on that side, come around to the other side, and we fit the other 3 in. For those wondering where these knife sheaths came from, the ones on his thighs came from Hit Girl, from, pardon my language, Kick-Ass 2. That's the movie title. I'm not cursing. Keeping it kid-friendly here. Sorry about that. But yeah, so KA2, that's where the Hit Girl figure. I think they're about like $20, $25 on eBay right now. So they're not very expensive, so you can totally pick one up for yourself. So taking an overview of the figure, going with the tactical look, I still wanted to sort of, you know, the classic Bullseye has his little Bullseye beam stripe motif thing across his chest, so I wanted to sort of mimic that with a scarf. And then I just dry brushed, let me focus again, I just dry brushed a little black band around it, which just sort of looks like a little edge of dirt, but it works to sort of break up that white. Just sort of, you know, just hinting at the stripy nature of his original costume, his original look, and that's really what I wanted to do here. Just wanted to take the figure, make him a little bit more modern. So once, you know, so he's also got sort of that striped detail in the gloves also. All his pouches are alternate with black and white in it, so that I didn't want to make them all white. I actually painted them originally all white, and they looked really, they looked almost a little bit tacky in a way. They looked really gimmicky to have them all white. It didn't make sense with the rest of the character design, so instead I made the top flaps white while having the, you know, pouch areas black, and that worked out really nicely. He's got these knee pads that I painted white, and then did the little circle bolts in a gloss black. You know, also sort of that alternating black and white type thing. You know, they look like little mini bullseyes in there. And then I also, like my last Bullseye, which I did about, I think, 2 years ago now, he's also got his white laces, but now it's much more detailed. He's got, see if I can get the camera to focus, there we go. He's got his white laces, and then actually where his laces go through, he's got this gloss black lining, you know, sort of like the leather, and then he's also got little silver, I don't even know what they are, you know, however the laces, the little circular pieces that the laces run through. Don't know what they're called, but those are picked out in silver. And then the toes, the caps of his boots are done in a gloss black. If it'll focus and light up the screen a little bit, it's done in a gloss black. So we got all that. Other little design highlights are definitely his gloves. On the outer side of his gloves, they're done in a gloss black, as you can see. And then the inner is done in a matte black. So you can see that difference there between the gloss and the matte. And I wanted to work, you know, when you're working with a figure who's primarily black and white, it's really important to work with the layers of paint or the layers of color. And so just using the differentiation between the gloss black and the matte, or the grays and all that kind of stuff, helps bring out the layers and details of the suit, even though it's all technically like the same color in a way. So that was something I was really going for there. And so I think it turned out really well. I can break down some parts for you just so that you guys understand how he's built. So this is the Diabolic head. The neck piece is, it's the Sovereign, or not Sovereign, Ascending Knight Batman neck, but it's been severely cut down and shaved down so that it can fit the Diabolic heads. And the peg inside has also been remolded to fit the Diabolic neck peg. The suit is a dyed and painted version of the Ascending Knight suit. When you come to the lower arms, these are actually the Deadpool. These upper arms are actually the Deadpool upper arms, and then the Diabolic wrist guards peg into that. And then the Ascending Knight suit has actually been cut a little bit shorter so it fits, and then has been glued in around the edge of the Deadpool upper arm. Oh, and by the way, the Diabolic wrist pegs also fit the Gomez hands. Oh, and for the fisted hands, I gave them a little blood splatter because he's been punching people. All right, well, now it's definitely not kid-friendly. So much for that. The vest, I don't remember where the vest is from, but I think it's from the company's called Crazy Figures, I believe. It's one of their tactical vests. I found it on eBay, and just to help give him the military look. This, the pistol is from Resin Armory, and I think I said that already. And the holster is from a Netflix Punisher figure. Coming down to the belt, this is, some of these are Mezco parts, some of these are from Hit Girl, some of these are from Marvel Legends. I just have a bunch of extra pouches and clasps and stuff for figures, so that's where that's from. You just gotta figure it out yourself for that. The pants I got on eBay, and they have been severely altered. I actually cut the crotch piece up a lot and sort of super glued the layers of the pants together, if you can see it in there. I know it's a little bit, that side's a lot cleaner. This side actually has a pretty bold fold. It's a little bit more obvious because the elastic band here is tightening the pants in just a tad. But I had to do all that just to make it fit a little bit more skin tight, while still, you know, it still looks baggy, but it was a super low crotch earlier, and I didn't like that. It made his pants, it didn't make sense for a military guy to have pants with like this crotch drop. So I had to cut that and raise it all, alter it and raise it so that it would fit better. And then we already talked about the knife holsters. These knee pads, I think they're also from Crazy Figures, but I'm not totally sure on that. I bought them online also, but I always try to source my parts to find out where they actually come from, so I believe it's from a Crazy Figures military guy. And then obviously I just tapered the pants off to cuff around the boot. So that's really the parts breakdown for this guy. I think he turned out really well. I'm really happy with him. Real quick, I'll just put the night vision goggles on him. There we go. I think he looks pretty cool like that. Reminds me of Splinter Cell, almost. I love Splinter Cell, by the way, all those stealth video games. He looks really cool when he's got his suppressed pistol and his G36, you know, on his shoulder and all that kind of stuff. But I'll save those for my pictures on Instagram. Secret plug. I'm kidding. But yeah, so I'll save all that for Instagram. So you'll get to see more pictures of him all geared up. But that's him with his masthead and his night vision goggles. And then I'll come over and I'll put his unmasked head on. And let's get that to focus again. I think both look pretty good. I like how stern he looks. I didn't want him, I know some people's criticisms of my last Bullseye 2 years ago was that he doesn't have a crazy smirk or anything. And I realized that version, I had designed it to be a lot more like the classic character. This one, I think, with more of a tactical soldier look, I think it's good that he has a stern face. It would seem weird if a soldier was smiling and stuff, and especially sort of the modern adapted take on Bullseye. I think it works really well. And I think a design like this really fits well sort of with what we've been getting from Mezco, and it stands really nicely on my shelf. Unfortunately, I didn't grab any figures from there to compare, but with how Punisher looks and with how Daredevil looks, I mean, Mezco in general sort of takes their own spins on it, and so I think it looks good to have a Bullseye who is more military, you know, to fit in with the group. It makes more sense than to have a guy in a black or blue spandex suit with a bunch of white stripes on him running around. This feels a lot more intimidating, and this, I feel like this gives off a lot stronger of a vibe. So I'm really happy with him. So that is my review of my custom Mezco Bullseye figure. Thank you all for watching, and like I mentioned earlier, my Instagram page, that is Tosh_customs on Instagram, so find me there. I put my username in the description of every video, and it should also be in the about, there should be a link in the about section of my channel page as well, so you can find me easily there. And I take a lot more care of that page. YouTube does not always get updated all the time, and is not really, I'll be honest, I don't manage it very well, mainly because I don't really have time to constantly do that. So Instagram is where I put more of my attention. So I'll be putting photos of him all geared up and, you know, fighting other Mezcos and all those and all that type of thing. So check me out there. And I want to thank everyone for watching this video. If you want to, like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate it. I don't earn any money off of these videos. It's just really for the joy of doing it and getting to showcase my work. But any attention, any support is always appreciated, no matter in what form it comes in. So thank you for that. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And so with that, take care, everyone, and catch you later. Bye.